Almost broke my timer. Hello, allies. Welcome to Allied Heritage Report. I'm your host, Javon Chandler. Usually here lately we've been talking a lot about this virus and how it's been hurting people, killing people. But today we're going to switch gears because America is so focused on this that they're not seeing anything else around them, and they need good news for once. So, joining me today will be my guest host, Bob. How you doing, Bob? Okay. My other guest host, Chester Roman Wolf, is out tonight on business. Now, this evening we are going to discuss 50 facts about America that most Americans don't know. You know a lot of things about America? I mean, you live here, right?
Yeah, I really don't pay attention about. I like history because if you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it again. But at the same time, I'm more like a man that looks at the future.
I hear you. Okay, so let's start with fact number one. America the Beautiful. Okay, with 50 states and a nearly 250-year history, there's plenty about our prestigious nation that will amaze and awe you. Well, that's a great fact. Kind of puts a damper on things, like, let's move forward. Okay, did you know the current flag was designed by a 17-year-old boy? Yeah. Our current 50-star flag was designed as a part of a high school project by 17-year-old Robert Heff. It was 1958 and there were only 48 states at the time, but Heff had a hunch Hawaii and Alaska would soon be granted statehood. Okay? His teacher gave him a B minus, but went on to update the grade to an A after Heff submitted his design to the White House, eventually leading to a call from President Eisenhower that it had been selected as the official U.S. flag.
I'm sorry, that kid just does not deserve an A. He deserves an A plus plus plus. He deserves like infinity A pluses.
Yeah, because he basically made history here.
I know.
You know, he changed the flag as we know it. And he was a 17-year-old boy. There's a lot of 17-year-olds that are out here playing Xbox, playing PlayStation. This dude designed
Fortnite.
the American, Fortnite. This dude designed the American flag, which leaves you wondering, what's next up his sleeve? Oh wait, he's not around anymore.
Oh.
It was 1958, but still.
That's sad.
Yeah, but still, you kind of imagine he's not around anymore since this took place back.
I imagine he's still living though.
Oh man, I hope so. I'd like to meet this guy.
Just imagine that. He'd probably be like, how old would he be?
Did you know that they call Lake Superior for a reason?
Because it is a superior lake.
No. Everyone knows Lake Superior is big. They don't call it one of the Great Lakes for nothing, after all. But few people know exactly how large it really is. Not only is Lake Superior the largest freshwater lake in the world, but it holds 3 quadrillion gallons of water. Yeah, that's enough liquid to completely cover both North and South America under a foot of water. So if that thing floods, we're all screwed.
Question: Why not take putting all your trash in the ocean? Put in like split it half. Put the trash in one side of the river, and leave the other side for the fresh water.
Well, I mean, if there's so many gallons of water here, maybe we can use some of that water, kind of cipher up the stuff that are bad in it, and we can use it for maybe drinking water.
And we can also fish it for materials.
Yeah. Another thing about America, if you don't know it already.
Pizza was not made in America.
No, it was not made in America, but we do love our pizza. It's no secret that Americans love pizza. However, it might surprise you to learn that we eat enough pizza every day to cover, get this, if you're paying attention, 100 acres of land. Total it up, and that's 3 billion pizzas a year. Sadly, no official data is available regarding how many of those pies were consumed.
Why is that chubby?
No, you don't eat pizza every day, do you?
No, I hope not.
But you know, there's a guy out there that's sitting on his recliner right now trying to break the world record of pizza eating. That's a lot of pizza. Okay, let's see here. Okay, someone is still collecting a Civil War pension.
What's a pension?
Basically like a paycheck back in the day.
And when was that?
Okay, so the Civil War ended in 1865, but Irene Triplett is still collecting a pension. Her father served in the war, which entitles Triplett, who is now among 90 years old, to a survivor's benefit of $73.13 a month. One can only imagine Triplett has a great deal in her life and knows all about the trumpets and tragedies only military families can understand. So she's somewhat set on gas.
Yes. Crossway of the country.
Right. $73 can get you far, just not very far.
Yes. It'd probably take you to like maybe 3 gas cans, full gas tanks. You really think about it, our gas prices are high.
There's been a lot of speculation about the Constitution. You learned about the Constitution, didn't you? Yeah. Did you know? Did you know Constitution wasn't original? Yeah. If you thought that Ben Franklin and the Founding Fathers came up with the Constitution all by themselves, you'd be wrong. They actually modeled
George
it.
Washington helped.
Well, they actually modeled it after the Constitution of the Confederacy of Native American Tribes. It's just one of many facts about Native Americans you don't learn in history class.
Question. So does that technically count as copyright?
I'm wondering. That's a good question. But you know what? I'm kind of wondering more about these Native American facts because I think, since it is Allied Heritage Report, we should touch base on these.
And plus you mostly talk about Indians. Or Native Americans.
Native American, indigenous people.
Yeah, indigenous.
Okay. Native Americans didn't all live in teepees, and not all warriors were men. Okay. Little known Native Americans history. Warrior women, brilliant inventions, hoax, and your favorite snack food. If you didn't hear about these things when you studied Native American history in school, you missed out. Native American culture is not nearly as
rich,
as your teacher might have you believe. Read on. Oh wait, yeah, we'll read on. Okay. There were female warriors.
I know. I remember one lady that was a female warrior. She picked up a gun in the war and then led the rest of the army from this man because he got shot. So she picked up the gun. I forgot her name, but I know she was called Mothers. I forgot. But she picked up the gun and started leading the rest of the soldiers to victory.
Okay, so in the movies, male Native American warriors rolled off the battle while their female counterparts remained behind to cook, sew, and take care of the camp. In real life, this wasn't always the case. Many warrior Native American women fought alongside men. And here you go. The most famous of these was probably Buffalo Calf Road Women, a member of the Northern Cheyenne tribe who fought in the Battle of Rosebud and the Battle of Little Bighorn. In fact, according to the elders of the Northern Cheyenne tribe, it was she who dealt Custer his final deadly blow. So she was the one who killed Custer.
So men can't say women are weak.
Right. Little Tree wasn't who you think.
Wait, there's an Indian named Little Tree?
Apparently.
Is he like little? And he's like sturdy as a tree. So you call him Little Tree?
I don't think it was a person. Looking at this, it says countless Americans grew up reading The Education of Little Tree, said to be a memoir of Forrest Carter's childhood. So it was a memoir It wasn't a person named Little Tree. It was a memoir of a person named Forrest Carter.
Oh.
So basically, like a journal or a diary. Okay. Um, Living with his Cherokee grandmother and part Cherokee grandfather, the book was praised for decades, taught in schools, and even recommended by Oprah herself.
Who's Oprah?
You don't know who Oprah is?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I live in the 21st century.
Yeah, Oprah was a woman who had her own talk show, and she would hide things under people's chairs and go, "You go home with a book, and you get a book, and you get a book." Yeah, she gave everybody everything.
Has she ever gave somebody a Rolex?
Probably, I don't know.
Man, I want to be in her talk show.
Okay, get this. Native Americans had diverse housing. The only thing you knew about Native Americans came from Hollywood. You would be forgiven for assuming every tribe lived in teepees. But this is far from the truth. Native Americans were decomposed by many tribes who spoke different languages and had different cultures and ways of life.
They lived in these like round little things, not teepees, and it had this little kind of like a round thing with a hole in it. It's like a cone type of shape.
Mm.
They also lived in big rectangle houses, and like the summer ones was those little ones. Then the big rectangle houses was the one.
The long houses.
For the summer. I learned that from my history teacher.
Okay, so many of the Plains Indians tribes lived in teepees, but the nations of the nation lived in longhouses, while the tribes in cliffs and the tribes and taos lived in pueblos. Not so sure what that is. Maybe next time.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, maybe next time he comes over, we can mention something to him. Okay, see, sometimes the truth is complicated. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Okay. So, have you ever heard of the phrase Indian giver?
Yeah, when you give something, they take it back.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a real thing, though.
Well, here you go. The phrase Indian giver has long been used as a derogatory term to describe a person who gives a gift, then takes it away. The implication is that gifts from Native Americans can't be trusted, but because you might be asked to return them. The reality was, in fact, far more complicated. Largely due to culture barriers, white settlers came from a tradition of using money to make purchases, while Native American tribes largely relied on systems of bartering, which meant the objects they were offering weren't actually gifts, but rather objects of value for which they understandably expected to receive something equal in return. You still wouldn't want to call someone an Indian giver, though.
Question. You know how when you get loaned, they give you money, so you have to pay them back? Are they technically Indian givers?
Not necessarily. I mean, I still wouldn't use the word Indian giver here, because it's still kind of a derogatory term.
Kind of mean.
Yeah. But, let me ask you a question. Guess who invented popcorn?
Indians. Or Native Americans.
Indigenous people invented popcorn. Popcorn has long been associated with the movies, or in recent years, the microwave. But although many of us may have wondered why popcorn pops, few of us have asked where popcorn actually came from. But today you're going to learn. The indigenous people of the Americas first domesticated the strain of maize, which produces popcorn thousands of years ago. In fact, popcorn artifacts dating back to 6,700 years ago were discovered in Peru.
Question. Oh no, more like something to tell you. I remember watching this movie. This guy was running away from somebody, and there's like these cannons. I thought they was just like regular decoration cannons, but they actually shot popcorn out of it.
Oh, that's cool. I would want one of them cannons.
It'd be awesome. Like imagine you having a party, okay?
Uh-huh.
You just have these massive cannons that shoot popcorn. And you're watching this big movie on like a green screen or something. And it would be a fun game to have too. You put like butter, get the seeds in it, and it shoots up, and he goes to try to get the most popcorn in your mouth, and like try to run with it.
Hmm.
Like popping bubbles, try to run popping bubbles. Except this time it flies up, and you have to try to eat all the popcorn.
You a sports fan?
Football.
Would you be shocked to learn that Native Americans or indigenous people invented the game of hockey?
Not really.
Okay, so if you're a hockey fan, you may be unaware you have the Sox, Foxes, and Eskimo people to thank. They were among the Native American tribes who played a game called Shiny.
I like that name.
Yeah. In Shiny, a buckskin ball was hit down the field using a curved stick. In the winter months, the game was played over ice. White settlers took note, and over time, Shiny was developed in the modern sport we call hockey.
I'm not a big hockey fan. I'm more like a soccer, football, and NASCAR fan.
Well, you know how football was invented, right?
No.
Okay, so football was originally known as soccer. Soccer was the first football game. Now,
Oh, did you know football was actually named for soccer in like England and stuff? They started calling football that, but soccer. They used to call it football.
yeah, I just told you that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, so during the time they were playing soccer and called it football, there was a guy, I want to say he played for Manchester, but I don't remember. But there was a guy that got tired of being kicked in the shins, and he picked the ball up and started running with it. So, which invented football.
Except, was it a round one or like a circle?
No, it was still around.
So he was running with a circular ball. Imagine how hard that could be. Picking up a circle ball and trying to run with it.
Don't think it'd be too hard. I mean, trying to tuck it like a football would be kind of hard.
Yeah. Or it'd be a lot more easier to knock it out of your hands. If you really think about it.
Let's see here, looking for some. Oh, did you know that each tribe has a different culture?
Actually, not really.
Oh, so maybe instead of us referring to indigenous people as one culture, we can look at this and think about it. Okay, so most students only hear about a handful of Indian tribes, while well-known names like Cherokee, Mohawk, and Sioux. But there were countless different tribes. Even today, the United States government officially recognizes almost 600 tribes. The National Park Service has a tribal preservation program which assists these tribes in preserving their historic lands and important culture heritage. That's cool. That's really cool.
It's very helpful too.
Uh-huh.
Imagine those are the last places on Earth because of all the pollution and stuff, and all these little bits around the world are like more preserved because they have more like a better since like they're not with more explosive pollution, they're more healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So then imagine like everyone has to try to prime themselves in there. That'd be hard on the Indians.
Did you know that the United States does not have an official language? And I know what you're thinking, and you can't say English is an official language because English came from England and the Britons. But America doesn't have a language called American. I mean, most people assume English is the official language of the United States, but the truth is, although we might be the case in many of the states, the federal government has never declared an official language, not English or anything else.
That's actually pretty interesting.
But then again, if we go back to the indigenous people, they had an official language before settlers got here. Okay, so you might be surprised by the oldest city. The oldest city in the United States. You ready?
Boston.
Many people assume Jamestown, Virginia is the oldest city in the United States, but the reality is Jamestown is nearly the oldest English settlement. The oldest city in the United States is actually St. Augustine, Florida.
Dang it. I thought it was Boston.
No.
Sad.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Boston is pretty lit.
Pretty Gucci.
Did you know Independence Day could have been on July 2nd?
That would actually make sense.
Yeah.
Because July 4th is like when we celebrate. I forgot when we celebrate.
July 4th is when we celebrate the independence. But here, a little known fact here. One of the things many people don't know about Independence Day is that Congress officially declared its independence from England on July 2nd, 1776. We celebrated the holiday on the 4th of July because this is the day that John Hancock became the first man to sign the document. So, we had to wait 2 days for John Hancock to show up. Have you ever heard the phrase, sign your John Hancock? That's why. You see here.
Is that a volcano?
Yeah, but it says here, don't stand too close to a volcano. This must have been written by an idiot.
Well, no, put Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
It's literally a volcano. You don't stand near a volcano.
But they have considered Mount Kilauea in Hawaii to be the most active volcano in the world because it has been erupting continuously for more than 35 years.
Is that why it's red?
Yeah. See here. Mustangs were important. No, Mustangs were imported. Not the Ford Mustang. The
I know
Mustang horse.
Mustang, yeah.
Okay. See, dinosaurs loved it here. Well, I love it here. So I'd imagine dinosaurs loved it.
I really don't like it here.
Okay, so the United States has not only found the most dinosaur fossils, but also has the most variety. Although the finds have been scattered throughout the country, most of them in desert areas where vegetation isn't likely to grow and fossils remain more accessible since they are covered by nothing but sand and rock.
Imagine everywhere that has a lot of grass and stuff was covered by water, okay? And everything else was not covered, when it was covered by sand, when everything was covered by sand, it was actually all like trees and stuff like that. But then something happened and it caused everything to like kind of like shift. And the water became on that side and everything started growing, and that's why we all had that sand over there.
Yeah.
And then for some reason it came out and then made.
See, that is a theory and a prediction on how the dinosaurs died because of what you just described there.
I did not really know that. I was just guessing stuff.
Yeah, that happened before. You see, the continents and everything used to be clammed up together. But
yeah, like because if you really look at them and you like start measuring them out, they're actually just like a big puzzle piece.
Yeah, so there was I guess one of the plates moved or some kind of earthquake in it, and it separated these continents to the way we know them now. Yeah. Let's see here. George Washington didn't have wooden teeth. Well, this is news to me because I've always learned he had wooden teeth.
My world has turned upside down.
Well, let's look into this here. Most of us have heard at one time or another that George Washington had teeth made of wood, but this isn't true. Although he did rely on dentures due to losing his teeth early in his life, forensic research has proved that his teeth was made
from metal?
No. Okay, this is gonna be kind of weird to a lot of people because it looks weird to me. Okay, so forensic research has proven that his teeth was made from a combination of donkey, horse, and human teeth. How'd you stick a donkey tooth in your mouth? Just like shove it up there and go, well, I hope this works. Wow.
Imagine how weird he will look.
Do you know who, have you learned yet who Amelia Earhart was?
Yes, she is the woman that tried to fly across the whole entire world.
Well,
and then in a strange area port, like they call it a pyramid triangle. She I don't know, nobody knows what actually happened to her, but she vanished. And there was also like other airplanes and other boats that did the same thing in that same little triangle. So now they call it the Pyramid Triangle.
Well, that was one of her accomplishments, but I will have you know that Amelia Earhart was more accomplished than you realize.
She did fly really good.
Well, she's got more things under her belt here. Amelia Earhart has seized the hearts and imaginations of the country for decades. It seems every year a new conspiracy theory emerges about her disappearance. Unfortunately, all these mysteries and intrigue tend to overshadow her achievement. Although it's well known that she was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, many people lose sight of the fact that she was the second person, male or female, to fly solo across the Atlantic, period, behind Charles Lindbergh.
That's a name, Lindbergh?
So she was the first woman, but she was only the second person.
If you ask me, that's pretty good. Second place. It might be a winner's loot. Like, I forgot to say, but it might be kind of bad, but it's also kind of good, depending on how there's very little lights for women.
Have you heard about the Wright brothers yet?
When they made their airplane,
Yeah, they made the airplane. So I mean now.
Like second grade.
Well, I mean nowadays when you make an airplane and everything, you gotta have extensive schooling.
Or paper.
Yeah, or also all that stuff. But did you know that the Wright brothers never went to college?
Yeah, there was actually a bicycle shop. And technically now for kids, you just use paper to make your airplane. Photo paper is cool. We made an airplane.
Well, Wilbur and Orville Wright, known as the Wright brothers, famously invented the airplane, which might lead you to believe that they were a highly educated pair. But in actuality, neither one of them graduated college. The invention brought the brothers fame and fortune, so fortunately, they didn't live to become one of these inventors who regretted their inventions. Now,
why would you regret that invention? That helped us a lot.
Yes, I know, but here's a little tidbit for you, quiz for you. Can you tell me where the first airplane was made?
In their backyard.
Nope.
Oh, dang.
Nope.
That wasn't a very good guess.
Nope. The very first state to have an airplane was the state of Ohio. That's where the Wright brothers were from.
Like my jacket says.
State of Ohio.
Buckeyes.
No, I don't want short stories. Okay. Okay, let's see here.
That's pretty weird.
Oh, here you go. When you get elected president, where do you go?
Not the White House.
Are you sure? Where does the president live when he's over there?
In the White House, I'm pretty sure. No, it's probably
Okay.
not.
Did you know that there was one president who never lived in the White House? He's never even stepped foot in the White House.
Where did he? Abraham Lincoln.
No, he was in the White House.
George Washington.
Yeah, George Washington was the only one that was not in the White House.
And why did he build it?
Okay. Although George Washington chose the site of the White House in 1761, he never got to live in it. John and Abigail Adams were the first president and first lady to move into the White House, and it was still under construction at the time. Since then, every sequence president has resided in the White House.
I was just about to say because the construction wasn't done by the time the president was done. Did you know Thomas Edison actually did not make the light bulb? He just improved it so it'll actually work.
Yeah, that is correct. He didn't make the light bulb. There was other people that made it right before him. He just
Improved
made it better. Like
one of those
Alexander Graham Bell. He didn't invent the telephone. The telephone was already there.
Called a telegraph.
Yeah, but he invented a way that we could communicate without pressing buttons.
Technically, you do have to press buttons now.
Speaking of that, did you know that they also did not tell you the truth about Benjamin Franklin?
He was not the president.
Well, not only that, But you've probably heard that Benjamin Franklin wanted the sturdy turkey to be our national bird instead of the majestic bald eagle.
That's wrong, ain't it?
It's an interesting story, but it's not true.
You know what?
Franklin wrote his daughter a letter stating that he thought the Great Seal looked more like a turkey than a bald eagle from there. And he created electricity because of an accident.
Yeah.
Alright, well, for those of you who are suffering from this coronavirus, we will touch base more about it when we got the time to do so. But those are some things to kind of fill your head with happiness and joy for the rest of your week. I want to thank Bob for joining us on the show today. And I want to say thank you for viewing. For Allied Heritage Report, I'm Javon Chandler.